FBI, open up!
Yeah, so, well, I definitely appreciate having you, big bro. Before we get started, for those people that might not know you, introduce yourself. Let them know who I'm talking to.
My name's Slice Morton. Everybody know me as Slice.
All right, what up, big bro? Now, tell the people a little bit about where you was born, or let's get into your early life. Where were you born? What were your the memories you have most of childhood, like from 1 to 5?
I was born Fort Greene, Brooklyn,
Okay.
and I stayed there till I was like 9. From 9, I went to Coney Island.
Okay. Well, what do you remember about Fort Greene, like early on? Was it was it was it safe? Was it a safe area, or was it middle class? What would you consider Fort Greene at that time?
I mean, at that time, I mean, it wasn't safe, but I wasn't really around the violence like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Now you said you moved to Coney Island. Did you have family in Coney Island when you first moved there?
No.
No.
I moved there with my moms, and then following us, my grandmother came behind us.
Okay. Now, describe your family setting. Was it your mom? Was it your dad? Was it like a 2-family household? Did you have any siblings?
Well, I remember my father around 5. But he never really claimed me as his son, so I never really seen him. So I got besides myself, I got 6 siblings, 4 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay, and where do you fit in as far as?
I'm the oldest.
So with that bears a lot of responsibility. I'm sure a lot of stuff fell on your shoulders. I'm sure you had definitely you was like the man of the house at an early age.
Yeah, that's a fact. Unfortunately, I wasn't really allowed to do what I wanted to do, like as far as sports and hanging with my friends. You know what I mean? I had to really lock down with my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, you're pretty much almost like the living babysitter while mom's at work, mom handling her whatever adult business she kind of got going on. Now coming from Fort Greene to Coney Island, what was your memories? I guess your early memories, or I guess that was your first big change in life, because you was going to school in Fort Greene, so you had to a whole new school system and a whole new environment of people in Coney Island. What was that like?
Well, when I got to Coney Island, I had did like a year in the school system in Coney Island. And then a fortunate situation happened. You know, I was home watching my brothers and sisters.
How old were you?
I was like around 10.
10.
Yeah, so the police came, knocked on the door, and they asked where my parents was at. So I told them I was there by myself, watching the kids. So they took us to the precinct and placed us in foster care. Because back in the days, it was like that. Like, you know what I mean? They catch you in the house by yourself underage. They're going to put you in the system.
Yeah.
So we wound up going to the system. You know, from there, just going to different places, different family houses, different foster families, you know what I'm saying, moving around until we got to an established situation. And I stayed in the foster care for like 3 years with this foster home.
Now, what do you remember about, I guess that whole interaction kind of got to be totally scary, because was you and your brothers and sisters together when you was in foster care, or did they kind of...
They split us up. It was like 3 of us at one home and 3 at another home.
Now, what do you remember about that home, and what was the difference between that one and the one that you was raised in?
Well, it was a big difference. You know, I ain't had to watch nobody, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had to be the quote unquote father of the family, the big brother of the family. So I had a chance to like kind of live my childhood life
Yeah.
for the years while I was there.
Yeah.
And I had a good family that they put me in too. I had a real good family that held me down, you know.
And where were you at during this time? What section? Was you still in New York? Was you still in Brooklyn?
East Flatbush off of East 92nd in Rutland.
Oh, okay. So you was in the heart of Flatbush. So
yeah.
So you was moving around at an early age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said that lasted about 3 years. I guess, what was it like to leave that comfortable family that you was in, going back to the responsibilities that you knew awaited you?
Honestly, I didn't want to leave. Honestly, I didn't want to leave. You know what I mean? I wanted to stay in the foster care system. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, when I did go back, it's like I was going back doing the same thing that got us there. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy.
So I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead, finish what you was gonna say.
Oh yeah, when I got back, we was living I think on Church Avenue in Newkirk.
Oh, when you came back home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was pretty much like the same area almost. You wasn't too far.
No.
Yeah. So how long did y'all stay in that area?
We probably stayed there like not even a year. Not even a year. We wound up from Flatbush, we wound up going to Long Island. Then from Long Island, we wound up going to Queens.
Oh.
So yeah, we was moving around like that. We done lived within 2 years. We done lived in like 4 places.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, because you went from being somewhere for almost 10 years from Fort Greene, from since you could remember to 10 to the next 5 years, or less than the next 5 years, pretty much moving all those places. So what was that like for you? Because it was different schools, different environments.
It was hard. It was hard. Like, you know, like I said, it was just back to the same old shit. I wasn't able to do much. You know, then we was at the time we lived in Queens. So my mom had a new boyfriend, and me and him got into it. So he tried to stab me up, and then from there I ran away from home, and I went back to Coney Island to my grandmother. At that time she was, you know, in Coney Island. So from there I ain't never go back to my mom's.
Wow. And what age was you when that happened?
I was around 13.
Wow. So I guess what kind of effect did that play? And what was the household like at your grandmother's house? Was it just you staying there?
Nah, she had some foster kids, because she was a foster mother too. So I went there, and my brother came behind me. My brother Tiny, he came over there with us. So when we got there, we got into the foster system under her name.
Oh, you know what I mean? So how many kids did she have that was fostered?
She had like 2.
2?
Yeah, 2 that I remember, 2.
And was they older than you? Was they older than you or same age?
One of them was like the same age, and she had a younger one.
So so it's like your whole life was dealing with adjustments at this point. What was that like? You went from kind of in a situation to being the only child to being in a new house, and then now you pretty much in your grandmother's house and has somebody your same age. I guess that alleviated a lot of the pressure off you, because you knew you wasn't really watching. We're gonna have to be like the main man of the house, even though you probably were, but you didn't have the same responsibility that you had. How was that adjustment moving to your grandmother's house?
Well, getting to my grandma's house, it was much better. You know what I mean? I was able to graduated from junior high school.
Uh-huh.
You know, but she didn't play around with school. You know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't really have like the motivation to go to school because I was always home.
Yeah.
Watching kids.
Yeah.
So with her, I wound up graduating from junior high school.
And what junior high school did you go to?
Cavallaro.
Okay.
Close to Coney Island.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, so I was playing ball at the time, so I got recruited from the head coach of Lincoln High School. So he wanted me to come to Lincoln High School. So boom, that was the next step for me. Then my brother came with me.
Right after you. So basketball was real important, or it was a big part of your life at that time.
Yeah, I wanted to be, you know, like everybody else, an NBA player, you know.
Yeah, and I guess it's perfect. And the story kind of, even though you had that moving, that you did end up in Coney Island, because I guess we're gonna talk about it in the future a little bit later in the interview, but it's almost like a haven for basketball players, especially ones coming out of New York. Now, so going from junior high school to high school, what do you remember the neighborhood being like? Are you getting adjusted in Coney Island? Is it seeming foreign to you? Because I guess you was there earlier, and then you end up moving.
I came back. It was like, Coney Island.
Did people know? Did people know like the situation?
Nah.
Nothing.
Well, later on in life, one of my friends, when we got older, he told me that he knew.
Oh.
But I didn't think, because it was on the news.
It was on the news.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was on the news. It was a big thing. So you know, when we got older, my man told me, yeah, I knew what happened to you. You know what I mean? But like I said, back to Coney Island, it was smooth. You know, it was a ball-oriented place. You know what I'm saying? I played ball every day. Getting prepared for high school. You know what I mean? I get to high school, bullshitting around with females and whatever. You know, I wound up falling off the team. I fell off the team.
What grade was this?
Yeah, 9th grade.
And 9th grade.
Yeah.
So
I fell off.
Now, I guess, what was your next move after you failed? Because basketball was almost your entire life. What was your thoughts at that time after you failed off? Your exact thoughts that day?
Well, it was a hurt feeling, but you know what I'm saying, I know I made that mistake on my own. You know what I mean? You know, I had a couple of friends that was, you know, 1 foot out in the streets and 1 foot in school. You know what I mean? So you know how that could go. I mean, I followed the streets. I chose the streets.
Okay. Yeah. So when you flunked off of the team, did you go back to school?
Yeah, I went to school for another year.
I
went to 10th grade, and I just stopped going.
What year was this? Do you remember?
It was 10th grade. 10th grade.
So you was in that. So that was 80s, mid 80s. I'm thinking early 80s.
86.
86. So what was the streets like at this time? Because I'm sure just on living in Coney Island at this time, just on your way to school, what was that walk like from? Because where exactly? I guess we need to talk about where exactly were you in Coney Island? Because
I lived on 29th Street.
Okay.
Like, it was like a little townhouse. But what I hung out at, it was on 31st Street. Like
okay.
It's called Mermaid Houses.
Okay, Mermaid Houses.
All my friends was over there. They lived over there, so I hung over there.
All right. Now, so that was, and talk about a walk. That's a little 20-block walk almost, or more, going to the steel wheel. So what was that walk like in 1986 to get school? Was it crime? Was it, because that's when the drugs really starting to come into play. Well, drugs always been prevalent, but now you're at the age where you can see it and interact firsthand. You're gonna have interactions with it firsthand because yeah, just going into Coney, just being in Coney Island, me living there, it's like 9 times. Well, if you ride in the elevator 10 times, you might be on the elevator with a crackhead 3 times or something like that. And it could be more than that if you keep doing it the scenario 10 times over. So you going to see it's going to be in your face. What was that like? Did you notice what was going on?
Yeah, I definitely knew what was going on. My man, one of my mans, he started hustling. So he used to tell me, you know what I'm saying, like to get down with him.
And how old was this, in 10th grade?
Yeah, it was 10th grade. So I was just to tell him, all right, I think about it or whatever. So I started to see how much money he was getting. You know what I mean? Now I live with my grandmother. I wasn't really getting no money. I wasn't getting no money to, live in the crib.
Yeah.
So, I chose that route. I took that opportunity. He introduced me to this older dude that he had met. That, they got together. And then, I got with him. I got with the older dude. He wasn't from Coney Island. He was from across town. But, he showed us the game.
Okay. And so he had to have some kind of strength in Coney Island, because just to kind of be there and just kind of have y'all.
Yeah, he was well respected from where he was at. Like a lot of people knew about him. So,
okay. Yeah. So what was that like being under there? What was the pay scale like for you then? If you could remember, was you buying stuff?
He paid us like around $500 a week.
$500 a week. And that was a big deal in 1986 for real, especially being a bigger deal because you, like you said, you going to school, you living in a house with your grandmother. What's the most money that you could remember having before that $500 at a time? Yeah. So, how long did you do that? And was it smooth?
Yeah, it was smooth. You had people. Like I said, just being only for him.
Yeah.
A lot of people ain't try us. You know what I'm saying? And then us growing up, he wound up going to jail he wound up going to get locked up. So we kind of like took over the block and get money. So we was doing our own thing and get money. That 500 turned into 5,000 a day. You know what I mean?
Once he got locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what was your thought? I guess when he got locked up, what was your thoughts at that time? Because that was your connection gone. And on top of that, the guy, you like, well, we're not thinking about, I guess this is really the early stages of the game. So we're not thinking about FBI or law enforcement like that. It was just, you chalked it up to a mistake that he had. It's something that happened with him in the streets. It was nothing that you had to worry about.
No, not.
So
we didn't have him, so we used to go uptown. We used to go cop uptown.
Okay.
Like I said, we was doing our own thing, so we used to go cop uptown. And that's when, crack was at its high, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you said it went from $500 to $5,000.
Yeah, a day.
And so what was that change like? I know at least the first day it had to be like, this can't be real. This is scary.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, we maintained that. We adapted to it, you know what I mean?
And I'm sure you've seen other people. You couldn't have been the only person out there doing it. Just looking at them.
It was others, but it was on that block. It was family situation. So a lot of people got bread. That was down with the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did that last on 31st Street?
I would say for the next 3 years.
Okay, so to about
4 years. So we talking about like 89.
89.
My brother got into it with my aunt boyfriend.
Okay.
And we was gonna beat him up or whatever. And my man Darren, he lived on 3rd Street.
Okay.
So he told us to come stay with him. Because we didn't really have nowhere to go. We didn't really have family like that we could go to, you know what I mean?
And that's you and your brother.
Yeah, me and my brother Tiny. So we went to 23rd. Now, mind you, back then, 31st and 23rd didn't get together. They didn't get along. You know what I'm saying? We had beef with a couple of dudes from down there. So it's like we the Bloods, and I'm going to a Crip block. You know what I'm saying? So that was like a little nervous for me, but
as an adjustment period, yeah, because being or having family, or I want to say being from 23rd, we would have considered 31st Street down the way. When we reference, they'd be like, oh, they down the way or something like that. So you come in there, Coney Island is big if you are out of towner or if you're not from around there, because you'll see projects, but if you live there, it's small. So I knew that, or I know that some of the people from 23rd knew that when you moved there, you was not from 23rd, you was from 31st Street.
They knew who I was, you know what I mean? I'm from the hood, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at that time, I done built up a reputation for myself, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, so they knew what it was.
So and you getting money, so I'm sure a lot of that reputation have to do with you getting money. How did they take that? Because I'm sure moving there and tasting like what the game had to offer, you wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna move to 23rd and I'm just chilling. I'm gonna go be a messenger on the bike.
No, what happened was, I had to I met I knew a couple of dudes that was down there already. So my big homie came back back home. So he came back home. So he gave me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So at this time I was, you know what I'm saying, selling weight. Okay.
How old was you at this time?
18. Wow.
So you barely an adult.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? I gave them a proposition, you know what I'm saying? So we kind of like click from there, you know what I mean?
Now, okay, so that changed your roles almost not really. It almost gave you more hats, because with you seeing the amount of money that they had, did you just stop working, or you was also serving other people, but you was out working yourself, getting your own?
Yeah, I was doing both.
Okay.
Both. But like I said, a couple of cats on the block, they ain't like the fact that I was there, but once, you know what I'm saying, shit started rolling, I gained my respect with them. So after a while, they treat me like family. So I was like considered a 23rd. I was considered like a Crip now.
Yeah. And that's to both sides. You say that, it's like the 23rd people accepted you, but what was the feeling like on 31st Street?
Nah, they ain't like that. They ain't like it. Especially my man that I came up with, he ain't like it at all.
The one that you was in the game with the older dude.
Exactly. The one who put me onto the game.
Yeah.
He ain't like the fact, because one thing about Coney Island is territorial, it's territory.
Yeah.
If you from a block, you from a block.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go to another block.
No. Not even if you get kicked out of your house kind of situation. It don't even matter.
I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
I ain't had nowhere else to go, you know what I'm saying? So they ain't understand that.
So I guess I didn't want to cut you off, but with dealing with that, what did that make it like? Because did you still have family or business down on 31st Street? Because you was established there at one time, or you just eliminated all business at 31st Street and focused your operation on 23rd Street?
Yeah, exactly. I left that alone.
Now, what was how did that affect your pockets or the business? How did that affect business?
Yeah, it didn't affect at all, because to keep it real with you, at that time, 23rd was making more money than I was making down the way.
Okay. And when you say more money?
Yeah,
Was it a substantial amount of more money?
Yeah, a lot. Double.
Okay, double. Wow.
Like on 23rd, you could, on a good day, you could go downstairs and make 10,000 within 3 hours.
Wow. And I remember walking right past you with the fly tracksuits on and the chains, and it was explained to the people that you was not the only person standing out there. It was almost
like 9 of us. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't like a team, but everybody got their own individual money.
Yeah.
Like, it was 8 people downstairs and 3 spots in the building.
And you were still able to come downstairs in 3 hours and make $10,000 a day.
Easy.
Wow.
So if you count in my pockets and you counting the spots and everybody else who downstairs, man, we talking about like probably $100,000 a day.
Wow. And I'm going to take the time to kind of describe the buildings we're talking about now. It's 2947 West 23rd Street, and it's 2 buildings. It's 2 buildings, 17 stories, and they go from I don't think to Z, but we lived in 4R, so it at least go from A to R, and I'm sure it even go past that. I can't even really say. I know it's probably at least 20 apartments, between 15 and 20 apartments on every floor, and there was 2 buildings across the street. So that clientele, and it sounded like that block had a reputation or something like that, or that's where people knew it had a high amount of traffic generating right there for it to be that amount of people.
It was like New Jack City, man. If you've seen the movie New Jack City, it was like that.
And did it grow into that, or was it like that from the time that you went there? You remember? It grew into that.
I remember it being like that, but it grew into that.
So it went from how many people standing in front of the building? Was it always 8 people, or did it start with just a couple?
Sometimes it's shift. It could be, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people do day shift, sometimes people do night shift. I ain't fucking with the night shift, you know what I'm saying? I just got my money to pay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could have, but it was too much.
Okay. So
and you had across the street getting money too. You had Moloch and them getting money across the street. You know what I mean?
And I guess I'm going. Well, when we talk, I'm going to ask you about a few things, and I'm going to ask you a little bit about who Moloch was, or what was your remembrance of him. But so now we in '89, and the game is really crazy, because '85, I want to say that was the start. Cops they were just catching on to what was going on. Niggas having beepers, niggas having money and gold chains. By '89, not only are the cops hip to what's going on, they starting to put together some kind of special units and teams talking about TNT. But on top of that, violence is coming into the scene at this point, because we stepping into the drug wars from like 86, 87 to like 90 in a lot of the big cities. Did you see that effect of violence on Coney Island? What was the trade like, even on 31st Street? Was it a lot of gunplay over there? Was it a lot of I guess beefing?
Gunplay was all over Coney Island. You know what I mean?
And that was since you can remember. That was before you got in the game.
Yeah, hell yeah. I got shot the year after me going to the block. I got shot on the block.
So that was like 87.
That was like going into 90. I got
going
shot.
Into 90. Okay.
And the crazy thing about it, I got shot because a couple of dudes from 31st Street wanted to rob somebody from 23rd Street, and I stopped it. So that got me into, you know what I'm saying, a situation with them.
And how did that play out? Where was you just outside one day and?
Yeah, I had my brother had my car keys to my rental. I had a rental at the time. He had the car keys, so I went downstairs to go wait for him to come back with my car keys. And the dude I had a little problem with, He came up behind me, you know what I'm saying, approached me about the situation. He pulled out 2 guns, started chasing me, you know what I'm saying, shooting at me or whatever. And the weirdest shit is that when the nigga was shooting at me, like I hear the gun clicking behind my neck, so I looked at the gun. I'm like, damn, this gun look familiar. Come to find out, it was one of my guns that I had. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. So you almost got killed with your own gun, essentially.
That's crazy. So I got shot that day or whatever. Only in the leg, you know what I'm saying? I want to get a hit in the leg.
Wow. So, not even only in the leg, because some people get hit in the leg and die. So obviously the violence is increasing. It always was gunplay in Coney Island, but the fact that people have more access to money and the drug game, so that's going to bring bigger guns. That's going to bring more people to be down with you. Did you notice people that were dying? I guess people that was out there. Were you seeing more people going to jail? More people getting killed, getting shot on the block? Did it pick up, or was it always about the same? Was the
violence was it was escalating, you know what I mean? Like every year it's just more and more and more, you know what I'm saying? The more money you make, the more problems come. And it wasn't just on the block, it was all over Coney Island. A lot of people was getting killed. You know what I mean? A lot of people getting killed, you know. And some of the dudes that was hustling on the 23rd that had the spots, they used to bring across town different faces out there to do X, Y, and Z. So it was kind of crazy. Like every day you gotta watch out. You gotta be on point.
Yeah. Now
it was vicious, bro.
Yeah. And I guess now when I kind of really think back, and talking to you kind of helped me think back, it was, I don't want to say, you would be almost what would considered an independent contractor, because you wasn't down with a team, because it was, I do remember a family, Love and McCoy, because I lived on the 4th floor, and there was a spot right near I lived on 4R, and there was one right next door to where we lived at. And I would remember seeing them go, and those was just some of the names. So I'm sure, and they had people working under them. So I'm sure you would see some face, like, and that's what you said. You can go downstairs. These 8 people are from in this building or around this area, but you might go downstairs and you might see a face that you don't know.
Yeah, facts.
Wow.
But the face is linked to them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The face is linked to them. So
Okay.
I'm from 31st, so you know what I mean. I'm there. I can't really tell nobody who to hustle. You know, in front of the block.
Yeah.
But as time go by, you know what I'm saying. As time went by, I was able to have that authority. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, once you get tapped into the game.
Yeah, muscle, and then it's like you said. Well, I consider myself. I grew up on 23rd. I can remember going there since I was like maybe 5 or 6 or some shit like that. Since I could remember, and I remember seeing your face from one of the most familiar faces that I remember seeing there. So I'm sure people kind of took that into account. Now, was it other people saying, oh, they couldn't hustle there, or it was just so much money at that point in time? You making 10,000 in 3 hours, you really don't even care who's out here when or what time.
I mean, you kind of still care, you know what I'm saying? But everybody who did hustle was affiliated with somebody, you know what I mean? It was alright. It was, you know what I mean? It was cool.
So okay, so after you get shot, I know you said it was just a leg. You recover from that. This is right around the time when they start rolling around. I can't remember the exact year when that shit happened with Ed Burns, but I do remember. I rarely remember blue and white police coming and having interactions, but I do remember times, like you said, It would be 8 people outside in front of the building. When they bought the tactical narcotics team that had the blue van, how Coney Island is set up, you can be, I don't want to, maybe 100 to 200 feet from the building on the street. So to pull up, really it's one way in, one way out, the Coney Island. So if you're going in, you got to come out. But the buildings are almost the same way. It's almost like you have a broad view of everything that if you stand in front of the building, you can see. If you swing your head left to right, you can see everything happening.
Yeah.
And you would have the ability to see a cop pulling in the front, and it'll take them at least 10 to 15 seconds to get to you in front of the building. But with we have
people rotating from the front and back because they used to come to the back door too.
Yeah.
We had the door.
And
then they had the maintenance side too. They used to creep
that you can kind of cut through to get outside of the building. You can cut through to get outside of the building.
Through the maintenance door,
or
the back door.
Yeah, and I remember, at one point in time, the back door was just open. Anybody can go in and out of it. It came to a point where they put a lock on there, and and I guess I'm gonna get into that because I guess I remember that a little bit. Well, this is around the same time, but just to kind of, I don't want to lose where I was at with TNT. It would go from, I don't remember seeing any cop activity to they would drive the van. I seen them drive the van on the sidewalk.
The sidewalk, yeah.
Yeah, I seen them hit somebody off of a bike one time, chasing, knock the dude off a bike. And I also seen, but y'all almost could have, y'all played it so cool. It's almost like a Denzel movie, because I remember times me being a little kid, just kind of coming from something like free lunch, and y'all are just kind of almost just chilling in front of the building, and they're like investigating, like looking on the floor, looking around, trying to see if what's going on, and it's just like, oh, we just out here chilling type situation. What was the difference?
At that time, after I got shot, I used to wear a bulletproof vest every day.
Wow.
Every day. So that was my wardrobe. Anybody know, they'll tell you I had a bulletproof vest and I had my gun on me. 90 degrees weather.
Bulletproof vest and your gun. Wow. Because I guess that definitely changed you, because you knew people get shot, but you could have died. You could have died.
Yeah. And at that time, I was getting into a lot of shit with different niggas. So, you know what I mean. So I had to dress up like that. It got to that point.
So, I'm sure that's going to be probably you coming of age, you making more money, but it also got to do with the drug wars, which brings just kind of like slight rivalries. I guess, what was that adjustment? What was that shift like to where it wasn't? Did you have any kind of interactions? Because even if the way I looked at TNT, even if they didn't arrest you, if they seen you enough outside the building, they knew what you were doing. It's just they had to prove what you were doing.
Yeah.
But did you, before they were able to drive onto in front of the building, did y'all have any static with them, or was it was mainly undercovers? I remember it'd be a lot of, some of my cousins got locked up with like from undercovers selling to, it would be like in the summer. I remember at one point in time, it'd be like the summer. Oh, I remember one summer, it's like, oh, they got these amount, like right before people start getting locked up, they know who sold to the undercovers. But that shit'll happen through the summer, but you won't know to the end. And it's like, well, you see, one thing about you is like you're a face that I remember. I can remember seeing your face more than I've seen some people in my family, because some people in my family fell victim to. So you was a little sharper and a little smarter, because it's like I don't remember not seeing you out there at that time. So did you ever have any interaction before when it was just regular blue and white police, or it wasn't until TNT where they were like out in the front in the open, and what was that adjustment period like? Because you never know when they're gonna pull up. That shit will have your head had to be on the string, because they pulling up like 40, 50 miles an hour.
At that time, they knew who the hustlers was. So, yeah, of course I had interaction, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I remember one time coming from court, and my man Six, we pulled up on a block, and I jumped out the car. They jumped out and started chasing me because, I used to stay dirty.
Yeah.
And they used to hear about all the beefs, you know what I'm saying? One thing about police out there, they be having informants. Informants let them know what's going on in the block.
Yeah.
We stash that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we used to stash the burners underneath the garbage can, or put the package in the building.
Yeah.
So, they knew what it was, but they just had to catch you.
Yeah. Yeah. And y'all, and well, I don't want to say you, but they was definitely slick. I remember one time this is one time I remember vaguely, I had a cousin named Eric, and he's still wild, but he was wild. He was just always wild. So we walking, and they out there doing their thing, and everybody is conspicuous, and it's a bag of chips, like under the bush. It's like bushes. So it's like, this was before it was redesigned, because they redesigned Coney Island too, almost like a maze. They probably try to make it to where like harder to run. But I remember it just being 2 or 3 stone chessboards, and it's like some hedges, and it would be a bag of chips, look like it right under there. And my cousin went to grab that bag, and it was just filled with just crack capsules to the top or whatever. Yeah. So it's like,
it used to be packages all over, bro.
Yeah, well, I could even imagine. I remember one time my cousin Dale is convinced, and you might not remember this because you probably made so much money, or I don't even know whose it. I'm not even sure if it was yours, but I remember one time the same cousin, because Coney Island was like that, and I never knew. I lived in East New York, but I spent a lot of time in Coney Island. My mom, my pops lived in East New York, but all my cousins, all my uncles, and everybody lived at my grandmother's house. But my cousins would always I found money, I found this, I found that, and I would never find shit because I would not know to have my eyes to the ground or know the tricks. But I remember one time my same cousin Eric that picked up that bag of chips found a bag full of money. He found a fucking bag full of fucking money, and it was a dude, I can't remember if his name was Elliot, a dude that used to sell pretzels or some shit like that.
Yeah, Elliot.
Yeah. It was speculation it was his money. I don't even know how my cousin got it happen to this money, but I just knew he took it out and he was giving it to like any kid. He didn't know what the fuck he found. It's like almost hitting the lottery as a kid. And I remember getting like 20 or a couple dollars from that. But yeah, that let me know at an early age how much money just was around at that time. And this was like right when you said at 1990. But I don't want to cut you off. I want to kind of get back to where you are. So you got shot. Now every day that changed your mentality. You out there with the bulletproof vest. Are you still on 23rd? What's the situation with that beef? What's the situation with that beef?
Well, the dude that shot me, he wound up getting killed like 8 months later, 6 months later.
Okay. So for a little while, it was. I'm sure it was on guard,
it was lit. It was lit.
And then, but even after you experience something like that, even after that person died, you don't lose your guard because you always remember what.
With me, I always had this thing where I always wind up in little beefs because you know what I'm saying. I used to try to look fly all the time, so. I think people took that for me being a sucker. I was with being a pretty boy. They just called me a pretty boy, whatever.
Yeah.
So I always had to, you know what I'm saying, show I'm not that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and then you was never like the biggest or the buffest of dudes and shit like that.
I was skinny. I was skinny.
Yeah. And you was definitely one of the best dressed dudes that I see out there, so I can see how you can get a lot of that. Now, 91, 92. The game is changing a little bit, and even in 1990, because a lot of people would.
It still was a lot of money.
Yeah.
There was a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But I'm thinking the money is still out there because it's probably more people using the shed at an all-time high. But then it start going to the competition kind of start getting stiffer because it's more people outside because they know that this money is here. And not only that, in some places the drugs went from $20 to $10 to then it dropped to $5, or was it people always selling $5 in Coney Island and making money like that, or that happened as the game got more saturated?
It varies, you know what I'm saying? Somebody might want to come out with 2 for $5s, somebody just doing 10, somebody doing 3 for 20s, you know what I'm saying?
So that was the whole time. It didn't go into that as the years went on.
Nah. It was no around that rate, around that time. But we had like in 90, 93. That's when the money was still going good, but it was fluctuating. Then we had some dude from across town came to try to set up shop. He just tried to sell. You buy $100 worth of capsules from him, he give you $300
worth of capsules.
Yeah, so he tried to shut down the block.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you said that was in right around 1993.
Yeah.
Now, so how did that situation end up kind of playing out? How long did that last?
It ain't last for long, but at the same time, there was a lot of dudes from Coney Island used to support dude.
Yeah.
Used to support him, you know what I'm saying? So dude used to come around and be funny. Like when he knew he was making a lot of money, like he used to try to figure out who everybody was. So I remember a day he saw me and bro, my man Donzel, he saw us walking past where he be at.
Yeah.
So, you know, he got some funny shit talking about screaming our names out like, what's up, Slice, what's up, bro? You know what I mean? So we like, man, we ain't even respond to the nigga, we just kept it moving.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, our money was dwindling. Our shit was.
Yeah, I was noticing the effect of him being out there.
Yeah. So, I seen the nigga one day. So I'm like, what's up, big man? Let me hold son. So nigga hand me $100. Right? So I took the shit.
Yeah.
So I'm being funny too. I ain't need it. I took it. So I bought me a car probably 2 days, 3 days later. Cause I was still getting my money. So niggas see me and shit. He's like, yo, where my money at? Like on some aggressive shit.
Yeah.
I told the nigga, man, I ain't got nothing for you, whatever. So the nigga's like, all right. So I'm on the phone in the cab stand. You remember back in the day, the cab stand before.
On 24th Street.
So I'm on the phone and I see like 4 dudes running down the block, all black on. I'm like, what the fuck going on? I told one of my mans, yo, drive my car off. Get my car, drop it off. He was scared, he didn't want to get in the car. So I left the cab stand and niggas started shooting at me. So I ran to the block.
Was this the same day?
Yeah, same day. It was at night. So it was on from there. It was lit.
Wow. Now, was you able to identify any of the 4 people, or you knew that they?
Yeah, I knew who they was.
And they was familiar. There's familiar faces.
But they wasn't from Coney Island. They was from Flatbush.
So they wasn't familiar, but you knew you knew the situation. Now, so the other. Well, this is different. I was about to say the other situation is almost a shootout. It's almost an independent beef that you have with one person. What's your mind state at this time? Because this is 4 people trying to kill you. Did you get hit in that situation?
Nah, I ain't get hit.
Okay.
I ain't get hit. But at them times, bro, I mean, I don't really like talking about war shit, really.
Yeah.
But at this time, I was having beef with so many motherfuckers, bro. Like, my mindset was regular.
Yeah.
Like,
it wasn't.
I think when someone's wrong with me, like, I'm the type of motherfucker shoot at me laughing while I'm running.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Like some fucking shit. But nah, I mean, back then beef was beef, man. You just, you know.
Now, so
the same dude put $10,000 on my head. He had a contract on me.
Wow.
And your uncle knew him. Your uncle knew him. I don't know if they was locked up together or whatever. So when a nigga used to try to get at me, he used to try to get your uncle to squash the beef with us.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he really didn't want beef. He really
didn't. Because the beef was fucking his money up.
Oh.
But I wanted the beef. I wanted the beef because I got to get you up out of here. You fucking my money up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, he wound up shooting my man bro up. They wound up shooting my man bro up.
In a chicken spot. In a chicken spot. I remember that.
So, but before that, I did something to an A-man. And they ended up doing something to my man bro. So they almost killed him. He got hit 9 times.
Yeah, I remember that. So, that was a big deal in the hood. That was a big deal. I even think I remember when you got shot. It's like, niggas talk up.
I got shot right in front of the building.
Yeah,
I ran. People was trying to say it was some old ladies in the park, and I was just running. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The motherfucker was trying to say I ran behind the ladies or whatever, joking around, no joking serious, whatever. The block was wicked, bro. So from that beef, it was on, bro.
So you had, just based on that, you just named 2 to 3 just near-death experiences that you had right there.
Man, if I told you all my near-death experience, man, you'll look at me and say, Slice, stop lying, man. You wouldn't believe it, bro.
Wow.
But it's out there. It's out there. Motherfuckers know. You know?
Wow. Yeah.
I used to come to the block. Me and my man, I don't know if you remember Moki.
Yeah.
Remember Moki?
Yeah.
You know, he was riding with us at that time. So, because when bro got hit, he was in the hospital for a minute. So we still had the beef going on.
Yeah.
And we used to come to the block, bro. Motherfuckers see us and leave us.
Wow.
Our homies. Because they were so afraid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that some shit was going to happen and they was going to be around. And that's how Coney Island was, too. Coney Island was, Brooklyn is like that, but Coney Island is like, shit happened in New York fast, shit happened in Brooklyn faster, shit happened in Coney Island in the speeding second. Before you know it, it's like that shit played out before your eyes. So how did y'all feel at that time? Did that make y'all feel any different, or you was just in war? You was in war mind frame.
That's it. And there was another time he tried to get me, right? I was in my car. I was with my man. One of my men from a different block. And my man was like, "Yo, why them dudes looking at you like that?" I was like, "What dude?" So that was on Mermaid in 23rd. So I spit back around on Mermaid to see who he talking about. So I rolled to the block, 23rd, and went to back of the building, 22nd, right?
Yeah.
So as I'm getting to the middle of back of the building, I see 2 dudes run behind the liquor store.
Yeah.
I see 2 dudes run behind the garbage can. So I couldn't back out.
Oh, because it's a one-way.
It's one way. So I grabbed my man and I put his head on my lap and I laid on top of him, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I pushed down the gas until like
gunned it.
They jumped behind the garbage can.
Wow.
Thank God no car was coming down Mermaid, you feel me?
Oh yeah, because that'll block y'all in.
Yeah. So I shot down the Neptune. At this time, I was staying back on 29th Street.
Oh, okay. You just get money on 23rd.
My mom's wound up coming back to Coney Island too.
Okay.
And I wound up staying with her again.
Okay.
Right. A lot of moving back and forth.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Make a long story short, I went and got strapped up, came to the block. So your uncle came down the steps. He was like, yo, come to my crib. Told me to come to the crib.
Yeah.
So I came to the crib. And the nigga put me on the phone with the nigga.
The same nigga
that sent the hit.
Yeah.
So this nigga, he was like, man, I be trying to explain this shit to people, man.
Yeah.
But dude was like, he wanted to be like a black John Gotti or some type of nigga. Nigga used to talk crazy.
Yeah.
So the nigga got on the phone with me. He was like, yo, Slice, I don't want no beef. I just try to get you. I see you on point. Let's leave this shit alone. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like them type of game.
Yeah,
like,
I see you on point.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck you. So True the big homie. So he used to try to talk to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we was wild. We wasn't trying to hit nobody, bro.
Yeah.
Especially you just shot my man up.
Yeah, and then just shot your car. It's just multiple occasions.
And, they didn't even hit my shit.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't hit you.
They didn't even hit my shit. So that was like the second time that he tried. And then he tried again with some dude. I was on the phone. Some dude came by trying to get me, man. It was crazy, man. But I couldn't stop the beef. He shot my man up, so I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta return the favor. I gotta do something.
Yeah. So
the beef was going on.
Tip for tat.
And we wound up getting them niggas up out of here.
Oh, they figured that they end up determining that it wasn't even worth it.
I used to see them niggas and try to run them niggas over with my car.
In Coney Island.
Yeah. Like if I ain't had nothing on me,
yeah,
I'm gonna hit you with my car. You like,
oh yeah. Yeah, it was an on-site situation.
On-site. It was crazy. It's crazy.
Wow. And how long did that last? That you remember?
Last for a little minute. Not really a long time, but they got the picture afterwards and they jetted.
Yeah.
But they wound up, they shot this other dude, this other big homie from down the way. They had beef with us and some other
multiple
dudes.
Yeah. So they had a lot of reasons to get up out of there. There was a lot of. It's only the money that probably kept them in there because the amount of money that you was talking about is around there. If it was any less, they probably would have been gone. They probably wouldn't have got into it. But
but they didn't want to leave because the money was so crazy for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Them niggas was making money all over the island, not just from the block, like everywhere. Like I told you, they was selling.
And then it sounded like the dude. Well, 10,000 was a lot to send a hit to make it on a day, but somebody hustling. If this was the older, somebody more somebody established in the game. So you was beefing with somebody that he was sending 4 people at a time type shit. So
listen to this though. I tried to explain this to a couple of people, right? I said how the fuck, like, the niggas used to try to kill me, but at the same time, used to tell me about my own neighborhood, bro. Like the niggas used to tell me, yo, you ain't got no wins with me, Slice. All my mans fucking all the bitches out here. Everybody's buying from us. I know where you live at. Matter of fact, I know your mom's name. Niggas spit my mom's name out.
And Coney Island's supposed to be small and sacred, but
at that time, you know, motherfuckers was on their selfish shit. They didn't give a fuck if I get killed. They was telling, like I said, they was telling where we was at. How the fuck a nigga knew where bro was at the chicken spot? How you knew that?
Yeah, and it seemed like he had resources.
Yeah.
He had resources, so he could probably give a nigga a packet. And Coney Island, like you said, it was small, and it's a lot more family orientated than a lot of other places I've been in Brooklyn. But you got people that's starving too.
But at that time, it wasn't like back in the days. You know, it was different. It started getting, once the drugs hit, it started getting different. It started getting selfish. Niggas was conniving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the niggas
Competition.
Yeah, so he had the place on lock. To this day, they crew got kids that live in the alley right now.
Wow. From the time that they spent out, from the time that all that shit was going on.
So after I started hustling, I started going into promotion, doing parties.
Okay.
So I don't want to fast forward, you know, your interview, but
yeah.
I was doing a party one day, so it was some girls that came to my party. True story.
Yeah.
So they were drunk in the front, so I'm standing outside. So one of the girls said, "Yo, Slice, you know my father?" I said, "What?" I said, "Who's your father?" So she said a name, right?
Uh-huh.
And she went in her phone and showed me a picture. Mind you, it was one of the niggas that tried to get me.
Wow. Wow.
And she said these words. She was pissy drunk. She was like, "Yo, I told him the other day, because the nigga locked up for a body." She said, "I told the nigga I was going to your party. He told me, don't go. Stay away from you. You dangerous." Words on my life, man.
Wow. Wow.
I was so fucked up because she was a little homie from around the way.
So it just kind of blew you because you already knew who she was, but you didn't even know that was her dad when she. So even if you wanted to do something in retaliation, you couldn't because you already knew who she was. Even if you was on that and dangerous.
Exactly.
Wow. Because
now,
see, and that's.
Imagine if I was on that. Imagine if I was on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was years ago. This happened, you know, like probably 10 years after that, the situation.
And probably another thing, because even if you're not on that, Coney Island is kind of like it's still a kind of family vibe. So it's like you're not really even when she tell you that, it's like you like, oh damn, that's her, that's your dad, but you're not really associating that with that because she's at your party because y'all have some kind of you probably knew her for the 10 years or
yeah. They used to always come to my party, but I never knew. No, I guess because she was drunk and she said that shit.
Yeah.
But you know, I look at Coney Island, man. Like Coney Island is a family place, but
treacherous.
But you got some devils out there, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't like this, you know?
Yeah.
I thank God I'm alive, you know. I thank God every day I'm alive, man. Because I could have been on that wall.
Not a lot of, yeah, definitely. We're going to talk a little bit more about that wall. We're going to get into it soon, too. We talked a little bit about Bro. He was a real influential guy, Coney Island, one of your real close friends. One of the most kind of talked about or the biggest things for a long time in Coney Island was Bro Day. And that was something that you was able to bring to the hood. Tell us a little bit about Bro, and tell us after that, tell us a little bit about Bro Day. Actually, tell us about how you met Bro.
Well, I met Bro coming to the block. He was one of the dudes that, you know what I'm saying, I met when I came to the block.
Okay.
Real genuine dude. Real genuine, real. You know, he was like, we reminded each other a lot of each other because he was a caring dude. You know, he stuck up for the block.
Yeah.
He gave to whoever, he took care of a lot of people. You know what I mean? He was a real good friend, real loyal friend.
Yeah.
So, we clicked. And the day he got killed in 95.
Yeah.
94. Yeah.
Now.
Well, he had a situation. He had a not to cut you off. And what I mean, he had took up for this certain dude that lived in Coney Island. He had a fight with some dude, So the dude was bigger than the dude that he had beat up. So the
Yeah.
dude came knocking got bro. So bro went and beat up the dude.
Was this a Coney Island situation?
Yeah, yeah. So the dude came to the block and shot bro.
After bro beat him up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro got shot 3 times. 3 separate times. He got shot with the situation.
Chicken spot.
The chicken spot. That was from crosstown niggas.
Yeah.
And then he got killed by the same dude that shot him in the first time.
Oh, so he got shot. So he got shot before that. He got shot before the chicken spot time.
Yeah, he got shot in his leg.
Wow. Wow.
So the same dude that killed him is the dude that shot him the first time.
So he was scared. He was scared of bro. Because bro done beat him up.
Yeah. So yeah. He died in my arms too. Like I was around the corner when the shit happened. Like.
And where did this happen? Where did this happen at?
It happened on 23rd, but the other block, 23rd.
Going down.
Towards Neptune.
Yeah, they're in front of the other building. Towards that other building. Wow. Building 3 or whatever. That's crazy.
He still was healing from his wounds. From the situation.
Oh, yeah, because I remember after that he was walking. He like walked a little bit funny because he gets shot 9 times. That shit was a lot. We thought he was going to die just hearing the amount of times that he got shot. I almost thought he was going to die as a kid. So it was miraculous for him to even make it from.
You was living in the building at that time, right?
Yeah. My family. Shit, I remember. I went there recently. My family don't live in that same building. I want to say my cousin moved to like 2007 or something like that. But I've been out there recently. Yeah, I've been out there recently. And I remember certain shit I just remember, and I would never forget because that shit just ain't. It's like you say, he was a big person in the hood. That shit had the whole hood sad. I ain't know him, but everybody was sad about it, and that shit just that should make you sad just kind of being around something like that. What was it like? Now, what was your thoughts of the game at that time? Because this was a real close friend, somebody that you spent a lot of time with. But I guess, what was your mindset about that? And tell us what brought you to bring in Bro Day to us to kind of, because even the people that don't know him through that day in the summertime.
Well, when he died, in my younger years, I traveled a lot of places out of Coney Island, and I played ball. So I spent a lot of tournaments. Like we had some shit called Frank Thompson down the way on 31st Street that used to be lit.
Yeah.
And I used to go to all types of other events like Uptown or whatever. Well, I say that to say that what brought me the idea of doing a Bro Day. And it was consist of, bringing all types of players from other places to come and play for this day, show love to my dude.
Yeah, rappers, Smooth the Hustler. I remember one year Smooth the Hustler was there. Rappers was there.
Foxy Brown.
Foxy.
Yeah, a lot of people. But so me and a couple of dudes from the block, we funded it. I thought of the idea. We did it. We made it pop.
That shit was huge, and it was huge, and it only got bigger every year. I remember one year being totally sanctioned off. Shit, I remember one year that's still infamous, and people that's watching, I'm almost sure y'all can search Bro Day on something like YouTube. Because I remember Stephon Marbury one year took his shirt off, had some of the most epic basketball games in the history of Coney Island on that very same day.
I'm about to do a documentary too. I'm about to do it this summer for a Bro Day documentary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be crazy. I almost can't wait to. Yeah, I definitely want to talk to you more, kind of about that off the scenes. So, when did you start the Bro Day?
In 95.
In 1995.
Yeah, the first
And
year.
and I remember it going on even till after I moved away. It was such a big thing that people would be
20
anticipating
years, 20 years, bro. We did it for 20 years.
anticipating the talk, and it had some of the biggest stars and some of
Everybody.
the biggest players rolling through there. Now after everything happened with Bro, what was the game like? I know it had to change you. At that point in time, you done been in the game. What is going on? Like 10 years or so. In 95, yeah, because we're gonna say 95, 90, like 86, 85, 86. Now, what effect did that take? Because he's not the first friend that you lost. He's probably the first close friend. But you've seen people die that was in their same peers.
Yeah.
And
I lost my brother. My brother got killed in 90 in Evansville.
and like Crown Heights.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's
So
wicked out there too.
I have to go and identify the body. So that was it. I seen a lot of people killed, bro.
Wow.
I seen a lot of people killed.
Wow.
But that was the first close one besides my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I lost a lot after that too. But to answer your question, after he died, I slowed down with the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna fuck around no more, you know.
Yeah, it's almost. I remember y'all being too almost like Batman and Robin a little bit, kind of, even though you said you was independent. So it's like you was out there by it, even though you knew everybody in Coney Island, it still felt like you was out there by yourself after that. I know.
It was like, why continue the game? I ain't got nobody real next on my team. Like, you know what I mean? When you're in the street, you gotta have somebody that love you and care about you, and y'all got the same energy.
Yeah. And then the game is just, as far as monetarily, it's not the same that it was when you first got into it. Even with the competition, it's just kind of dying down. Different things are coming up. Now, I guess with that question, and we getting towards the end of like you kind of doing that, getting in that game, what would you say separates you from? Because it's a totally different time now. You think that, like, looking back and from 85 to 95, you're like, damn, the game changed and the money changed. It's a whole nother, it's like reversed and upside down now. What's the main difference between somebody in like, or this era and when you was coming up in the game?
Totally different, bro.
You said totally different.
Totally different. My era, you know, our first thing was about money.
Yeah.
You know, we got money. You know, if the beef came with it, you know what I'm saying, the gunplay came with it, we still got our money.
Yeah.
Today, you know, a lot of these young boys, they killing and they ain't making no money.
Yeah. Yeah, going to jail at an all-time high. Yeah.
So I look at today era like, you know, stupid shit. They killing for no reason.
And access over.
A lot of people don't agree, but I blame the music.
The music that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Now, I guess it's a good thing that you brought that up. And did you notice a shift in the music from when you was in the game? Because it was a total difference in the music that I remember in Coney Island coming outside and they bumping Just a Friend on the radio on like the boom boxes and shit. Like the whole Friday or the whole weekend, that shit came out. First time I seen it on Video Music Box. And then in 92, right around 92, it went to Onyx, Throw Your Guns. The music kind of got more violent. That's I did some interviews before, and that's one of the questions I would ask. Like, when was the first time you remember hear somebody referencing violence in music? And not only that, in 92 they kind of got rid of people like KRS, Public Enemy. They was fading that kind of the conscious Kid and Play, anybody doing anything different except gangster rap. They was bringing in Snoop, Nas, Biggie. Not to say that these are artists that just talked about that. Onyx, Throw Your Guns in the Air.
They talked about it, but you know they ain't make it the style to kill a motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
today, some of these rappers, when they spit, they making these kids believe it's cool to go kill a nigga.
Oh, definitely. And then
You got if we had the music that they had today, it'd have been. Think about the music today. If that was back in the days,
the theme
even
to
though
that.
it would have been 3 times as much as bodies.
Yeah.
Because music can influence you to do wicked shit.
Yeah.
You can't kill a motherfucker off of church music. You can't.
Yeah. You can't get hyped.
Kill a slow jam.
You can't get hyped to kill somebody off of that unless you're crazy. Yeah,
you gotta be straight crazy.
Yeah.
But
the drill music, the New York drill music of today.
See, some people don't understand because they don't know what it is to bust that gun.
Yeah.
That energy that should give you.
Yeah.
So you put that on top of hearing that shit, and you might think you're gonna get some pussy, or because you're gonna get a name, because you gonna court some bodies. That should have amped you up. That music, that drill music.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I agree with you. It's definitely different from the music that was going on.
Yeah, that's why so much killings. It's the style now to catch a body.
Yeah, so I guess another it gets you get known, you get notoriety. It's almost like we definitely in a crash dummy era. But with that being said, what's some advice that you would give to young dudes today that might be in the game?
One thing I commend myself. I give myself a pat on the back. I stopped a lot of killings in Coney Island. I'm still, you know what I'm saying, in the streets, but I'm not in the streets.
A
lot of motherfuckers respect me.
You still influential.
Yeah. So, I'm able to press that button and stop.
I've done it. Chill.
You know what I mean? But there's also a lot of kids ain't listening to nobody.
Yeah.
They look at you like an old head, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is our era. This is our time. They don't really listen. So to answer your question is, I'm out there, and I try to tell motherfuckers ain't worth it. You know what I mean? But ain't nobody could have told me shit when I was young.
Yeah, you wasn't listening.
I wasn't listening. I wish I had somebody tell me to chill.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these kids ain't listening, man.
Then they come from in.
It ain't gonna stop me from not getting in their ear telling them to chill.
Yeah.
I still, especially today's game, it ain't no. I don't see crackheads no more. I don't know how they getting money.
Yeah. But it just changes. People in pills now. It's just crazy.
Getting a job, then you can get hustling these days. I don't see it.
Starting a business or something like that. You kind of just gotta redirect the focus pretty much with something like that. Now, we talked about Tiny in this, but a lot of people might not know. Would they know Tiny is your little brother because he played basketball, but then might not know what Tiny be talking about. Who is your brother for those people listening?
He was the head coach at Lincoln High School.
Okay, and we talking about Tiny Morton.
Yeah, Tiny Morton.
And pretty much when we talk about the creme de la creme of the basketball players that came out of New York, he either has something to do with coaching them or coached them directly. So it was a string from the 90s, probably like from when the time that you said that the game was ending. I can't remember what year Steph got drafted, but from the year Steph got drafted, 96. So I want to say he's the prodigal son of Coney Island basketball, even though he had brothers that played. He kind of took it to the apex, and he was the first. But from that time that your brother took over as the coach, it was multiple people. We talking about Sebastian Telfair, who was the #1 high school basketball player in the nation at the time. And I want to say they won a state championship together. There's a documentary out about it, and it
Yeah, through the
shows.
fight.
Yeah. Then we move on to Lance Stephenson. Isaiah Whitehead
Yep.
is going to be next, and
Yeah,
I might
yeah.
and I'm not even sure if I'm missing one, but I know Lincoln got a player even right now. So it's like he almost started that tradition. Because when we talked, I want to say you said his first year was when Steph last year or something like that.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess with your brother being one of the top New York City and high school coaches, period, as far as like producing talent and wins, how was that? What was that like? Did you interact with any of these players that I mentioned or that played on the team?
Definitely. I played a major part also, you know. A lot of them kids, they fuck with me, you know.
Yeah.
With Stephon, I used to live with Stephon.
Okay.
When he went to college and when he went to the NBA.
Wow. So the 1 year at Georgia Tech, and then when he went to Minnesota.
Yeah. Sebastian too. He like family, you know.
Yeah.
I introduced Sebastian to his agent.
To his agent. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and I have seen you personally interacting with Lance Stephenson, so it's like you close. And then being from Coney Island, it's like even if your brother didn't coach them, you would have still had the effect, because if I'm not mistaken, where you was Mermaid Houses, right, where Stephon is from.
Yeah, Stephon and Sebastian from there.
Yeah.
So I knew them from when I used to be on the block.
Yeah, when they was little. Yeah. So that's kind of a crazy kind of connection, and it's like you left, but your brother continued to play on the team. It's almost like you was the father figure. You almost had to just kind of get out here earlier to ensure that they didn't have to get out here and do some of the stuff that you had to do.
And the funny thing, he was going to Grady, my brother,
which is Lincoln's rival.
Yeah, he was going to Grady, and he wound up coming with me to Lincoln.
Wow. And then you end up flunking off.
I wound up falling off the team, and he stuck with it. But I always went to all his games. You know, even when I was hustling on 23rd, I would leave when I know he got a game or he coaching. I'll leave
and go catch the game. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd be in the stands, dirty in the motherfucker, drugs on me, gun on me.
Cheering your brother on.
Sharing them all.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And then he would go on to make you proud. Well, you wasn't a player in that game. You was definitely a big time player on the streets, but you was able to transition that, and you was a player with the films, and you said you got a documentary going on. Tell us about the one documentary, because you have an award-winning documentary out.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It's called Our Mother's Voices. It's about mothers that lost their kids through the streets.
Wow.
Violence.
Wow. Then when did you put that together? And what made you bring that together? I'm thinking some of the stuff we talked about had an effect on that, but what was the concept or your mindset behind that?
Well, I don't know how this may sound to you, but you know, when you go to a funeral, you always want to know, you always be afraid to go up to the mother to find out how they doing. You know what I mean? Because we know if a mother loses a kid, that's like the worst thing in the world.
You don't want them to break down. You don't want to add more pain onto it.
And so I grew up with really like, I lived with my mother, but I ain't never really had that motherly love and support like a lot of mothers. So when I came up with the idea, my mother the one who said to me, because she came with me to one of my friends' funeral, and she said, you'll never know how a mother feel losing a kid. You know what I mean? I took that in consideration. So when I thought about doing a film, I wanted to do a film showing these teenagers the effect that they give to these mothers by taking their kids away. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I want to show the pain that these kids, but at the same time, it was personal for me because I wanted to see how these mothers felt about their kid because I ain't never get it. So I used to ask myself, damn, what is it going to take for me to die to get that tear? You know what I'm saying? It was kind of mixed.
Wow. You was kind of clearing your closet out a little bit with it was like self-therapy a little bit, kind of.
Exactly.
Wow. So I know you said you got a Bro Day documentary coming out, and I'm
a short film too.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about that.
The short film is called One Way In, One Way Out. It's about Coney. It's about just the obstacles and the things that, for example, these ball players go through trying to make it to the NBA from the hood.
Yeah.
The things they see, the things they survive. You know, one thing about Coney Island, we protect our kids. We protect our ball players.
Definitely.
So I want to show, exactly what they go through, living in the ghetto, living in the trenches, and making it out.
Yeah, almost a forgotten land because Coney Island. So we so separated from something like East New York or Bed-Stuy. It's like
we're not even considered Brooklyn to some of these motherfuckers. To some people, we're not even considered Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But it is. We got like 9 NBA players from a 16-block radius. You can't find that in the world.
Now some of the most.
Not in no planet you can find 9 people that touch the NBA basketball court between 16 blocks.
Yeah, nowhere in the world. Nowhere in the world you can do that.
Nowhere in the world.
Yeah, it's definitely something in the water. And on top of that, not only that, for it to be, we produce like some different other people, like just different all over. Somebody that I get a lot of requests for, and we talked a little bit about in another time we sat down that I kind of forgot to mention, but I want to squeeze it in. A guy named Moloch that we talked about from Building 2. What do you remember, or when I say that name, what do you think about when I say that name?
Dangerous. But if he fucks with you, he fucks with you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He was in my eyes, he was a good dude.
To a lot of people too. And it depends on how you know. Let's just say it depends on how you know him, right? Because he could be the scariest nigga that you ever seen.
Exactly. He could be the motherfucker you don't want to walk by. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the effect he put on people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know of him robbing motherfuckers and wearing their jewelry right in front of him.
Wow.
On some Debo shit from Friday.
Wow.
He's the Debo.
Yeah, so some people see him coming, they tuck and they running, they hide and all kind of shit like that. Yeah.
Tucking fat.
Wow. Yeah, somebody, and it's funny,
I was talking to somebody. You hear me? I was there. I was right on the block when he got killed.
Wow.
Yeah, man, I was right there, just right in front of the building. Heard the shots and everything, ran over there, seen him on the floor.
That's crazy. Damn, what year was this? Was this?
This was after Bro got killed.
Gunplay was heavy at
probably 97.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember exactly, but I knew it was after that because I was around when Bro got killed. I was away when that happened.
So he got killed after Bro. So and the wicked shit was when he got killed, the police was there laughing, man. They was happy, bro.
They was happy he got killed. Because he was a menace. Well, he was a menace in Coney Island. Somebody told me about, they brought it up and I'm like, damn, that shit sound familiar. They was like, you ever heard of Alibaba and the 10 Thieves? I'm like, yeah, I heard about that. And it was like, and they talked a little bit about him. So his name come up a lot with this shit that I'm doing. And I know you was out there in Coney Island, so I know you definitely seen some of that shit firsthand, for real. But like you say, you you a son of you. Even though it's the 31st and it's up the way, I don't think that shit is probably still going on the 23rd. I'm so far away, and they changed Coney Island so much. I'm sure that shit is not.
Nah,
Coney Island is small and it's family, and you definitely one of the people that one of the standout stars that I remember from Coney Island, for real. So and somebody that got a lot of love. So I know. I'm sure he kind of felt the same way because he's seen you coming up because you was a lot younger than him. So he definitely probably, you put it like this, the amount of people he was robbing, if it ain't never come your way, you knew he had, because with your age, and it's like people kind of like that would tend to go to the people that less likely. You wasn't the strongest nigga out there. You wasn't, so you definitely was out there holding your own. You out here, no scars and no free. So I'm happy that you made it, because not a lot of people that I could kind of sit across on the damn Zoom interview with. But I'm glad you're here, and it's not too many more people from that era that I remember that I would want to sit down, because I definitely know that you had a good story to tell. I wanted to try to get that out here. Now, anything else before we wrap up that you kind of want to talk to the people about, or that you think we might have missed?
I think we probably got everything.
Wrapped up everything. Yeah, and we're gonna be sitting down again. This is just to kind of get the people familiar with who you are and what you got coming to the channel. But once the documentary come, once you're ready to put steam on the short film, we're going to be bringing clips and trailers of that to your face, and I'm going to have you come kind of talk to them and break that down too, for real. Let them know when they can get it, how they can support and all of that. But I appreciate you, Slice, man. And we in contact now, so you got my number. Definitely when I pop up in the city, I'm going to try to slide down on you. But we're going to talk even besides that. And once I get
I thank you too, bro. I thank you for giving this opportunity, man.
Yeah, well, it's my pleasure. When I concepted it, I didn't know it was going to happen like this. We was going to sit hand in hand, but this was definitely something that I wanted to be able to do.
Who told you to get in touch with me?
Huh?
Who told you to get in touch with me?
I was on Clubhouse one day, because I was already, I think I was already following you on Instagram, I'm not on Facebook, but on Instagram. And I told somebody I was doing an interview with Del Son. This was before I did an interview with him. I didn't even release that yet. And he was like, yo, could you get Sliced? I think I might even have a clip of it that I'm gonna try to see if I can find it on my phone. Because this Clubhouse is like just niggas talking, total anarchy. And it's another nigga that's kind of doing his thing semi on YouTube. And he like, yo, Popalot, could you get Slice? And my cousin like, yo, yeah, before I even asked, he's like, yeah, we can get him. I'm like, yeah, let me reach out to him. And he said it would be a dope interview. So I try, I'm like, yeah, it brought back so much, and there's nobody else that I could get to kind of tell the perfect story of Coney Island. But not only that, I wanted them to know, because your family is just shit. It's like a first family of Coney Island. Your brother, like, coached a lot of those stars and impacted, and not even that, it's a lot of good players that didn't make it that he coached.
Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah. I will shout out to them too. There's a lot of players that didn't make it. A lot of players, bro. A lot of players that went to college too.
So that's a big thing, and that's part of what makes him one of the best coaches that New York City and just high school alone, because they're not producing players like that. He got a lot to do with that. And it's Coney Island. Coney Island got something to do with it, but it ain't no coincidence that they started going pro once he started coach that last year of Steph's.
I used to tell him all the time, I said, yo, you got the inside locked down, I got the outside locked down.
And that shit proves true. Yeah. So